now to square to get the bonus. We have to personally sponsor them. Meaning for Jim and Sandy to square, we had to take 4 new people, and when we went into our site and registered them, you would see their sponsor was Jim and Sandy Mineo. We got the first order bonus. We would get the square and the whole thing, okay? Well, Jim and Sandy Mineo do not need 4 more pairs. So because they're putting us in this pilot plan, and that's the way they made us, or we had to register people in order to square, they're giving us 28 days to get those personals away. So we're putting a list together. We don't have to fill out the sponsor change forms and all of that. You need to get the list to your working upline. And, for instance, the list will say Bob Smith, his distributor number, his current sponsor is Jim and Sandy Mineo, and their new sponsor is Mary Smith, and her distributor number. So do you see what I'm saying? They're now letting us back out and go, okay, now that we've gotten our square and we've got some new volume going there and a lot of excitement, we're going to reach down into our teams and give those personals away, which is what we normally do when we first register them. Okay? I hope that makes sense, Mike. So
that makes huge sense, and I want everybody to counsel upline on that. So there's some people on the call who may not have the philosophy of giving away personals, but we do in Legacy, and there's also a consequence to that. And I want you guys to understand the consequence to that. The consequence is that Mike McCormick, by giving away his personals after he gets square qualified, by giving away his personals, I will never qualify for a Jeep. And the reason why is because the Jeep promo requires 8,000 points per month of pair volume from those people I sponsored in. And since I'm giving those personals away to somebody else, then it will be tabulated towards their points, not my own. That's cool with me. I'm 100% fine with that. Why is that? Because if I get one Jeep in my downline, I get one Jeep, that's 8,000 points a month in my downline. What's 10% of my lesser leg? $800. $800 is twice the money that I would get from a $400 lease payment on a Jeep. So it's much better for me personally to help somebody else in my group get a Jeep, not necessarily for me to run for a Jeep. But if you're really trying to run for a Jeep and you're not part of our organization, you happen to be on the call, please, 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 please counsel upline and do whatever your upline says. But what Sandy's talking about is a true, and I know that I'd get 100 calls if Sandy didn't say that I would have gotten a ton of calls after this asking, well, wait a second, I thought we were giving away our personals. Well, she's just explained that, and I know it's a lot coming at you tonight. So if you had questions about it, call. If you're in my downline, call me. If you're in Sandy and Jim's or Colombo and Karen's and maybe in all of our downlines, just call us, and we'll help you out, help you through that. And I also want to say, and I didn't really, frankly, give Karen and Sandy as much credit as they deserve. When we were at the convention, of course, all of these guys were black tie qualified, and there's a black tie area. And on Friday night, you know what Friday means, the clock's ticking. It's Friday midnight to Friday midnight in our business. There's Sandy and Karen going absolutely nuts, pouring over the computer. They're the hardest working people you'll ever meet in your life. And this is a teamwork kind of thing, but they realized that if they did the computer work that night, there would be a huge benefit for them. And then even in the last couple of days, I've been in constant communication with Karen and Colombo and with Sandy and Jim told me they were on the computers from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. From 8 a.m. till 2 a.m. the next morning, getting all of this stuff taken care of. What I'm trying to tell you is this is not going to be without sacrifice, but boy, oh boy, look what they've set themselves up to. Jim and Sandy have a grandson named Nixon, and their big why in this business is how can they spend more time, how can they buy back more of their time to spend with Nixon. Colombo and Karen have similar lives. We all do. We want our time back. And this is by making that sacrifice now and working as hard as they can work, that's the kind of thing that will reward them down the road. And so I want to also talk about, in addition to what Sandy's mentioned, thank you so much, Sandy, for doing that. Karen, what are you doing to get people ready to go back and say, okay, I've got to do some follow-up. I've got to make sure these people understand what they're doing. Could you describe to the folks on the call what's in store going forward for you guys and making sure that the people are really solidified in the business?
Well, Mike, the biggest thing, I think you were asking me that question, but the biggest thing it was to make sure I scanned them when we did it, so I have a reason to get back with them, and I put that in my calendar for 3 weeks later to get back and sit down and talk to them. And we're making it a point to make sure as we're putting more people in that we take all the number ones that I talked about and all the number twos that I talked about and make sure that we've placed someone underneath them so that they have a business started. The number threes were people that we used, honestly, as filler. You know, if you were number one, you're going to end up with 1 or 2 number threes down underneath you so that you would have a positive effect on those number threes as you built the business beneath them. But that was the big key, is get back with them, show them that their score or their color has increased, talk to them about the product, show them the website, and show them how they've already actually started to build a business without even realizing it, and then talk to them about their dreams. Talk to them about our upcoming seminar that we have October 12th. Talk to them about Las Vegas that we're going to be out there in January. Talk to them about, you know, being part of a community that means something to them. We had a meeting last night here in town, and, you know, one of the things that I said when we were done, there was so much excitement. I said, do you get this at work? Do you work around these kind of people that are positive and uplifting? And so on the follow-up, we wanted to talk to them about a more meaningful life, you know, things that would really enhance their day and build them up rather than break them down. So those are the big things on the follow-up that we did. We captured their dream a little bit. We talked to them about believing in them, about working with a team that was going forward, and about a much brighter future.
Well, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Jim. One of the things that Jim also, we hear us talk about all the time, let's treat this as a business. And if you're on the boat with Jim, Jim's got a briefcase, and Jim and Sandy and Karen and Colombo, they all do. And they have a briefcase with file folders. Okay, this is the guy I'm going to go square next week. This is the guy I've got. Treat this as a business. Create your file folder. Get your application on paper. And make sure that you're doing all the things that you would want to do to strategize to ensure success in your business. So thank you so much, Jim, Karen, Sandy, Linda. I really appreciate everybody jumping in. If those of you on this call don't think you have the time to do this, Colombo de Salvatore is one of the most finest men I know, and he's jumped out there and he is slaving away because he's caught this wave. And as he's described it, he's like a surfer, and he's got the Grand Kahuna right behind him, and he's catching that great wave and riding it in. It's a time for all of us to catch this wave. But we've got to get our track shoes on. We've got to inform our downline of what's going on, and we've got to do it quick so that they have a chance. Then we've got to work with them and become the team that we always wanted to be in order to achieve the success that's out there for us now that frankly hasn't been out there since I've been in the business. We can make good arguments about how we can recover our money, but now it's a certainty. It's not left to theory. And thank you so much, Jim, Sandy, Colombo, and Karen, for taking theory and taking proof of concept and proving it. So the idea is we want to see all of us go nuts. We want to do the follow-up so that this isn't a spike and die kind of thing. This is something that sustains itself and we build on it. We want to see people driving around in Jeeps and we want to see people helping each other. So if you want to be happy for an hour, so take a nap. If you want to be happy for a day, go fishing. You want to be happy for a month, get married. If you want to be happy for a year, get a great big inheritance. If you want to be happy for a lifetime, go help somebody else achieve something that they didn't think they could achieve, and that's what this allows us to do. Y'all have a great night. Thanks so much for participating. Is there anything else, Jim, Sandy, Karen?
One more thing I wanted to add, Mike, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You know, I was in the Air Force for 25 years, and I had a couple different officers that were appointed over us, and sometimes when they came in, they weren't really trained in the position that we needed them to be in to be our leaders. And what happened a lot of times is everyone got the deer in the headlight look, and they kind of froze. And I've seen that happen with us in the group over the past 4 or 5 years. We've had some moments where the leadership wasn't there in Montevideo, and it wasn't there in the country. And so we got a lot of people that were kind of deer in the headlight looks. But I can tell you this, after spending some time with you and Linda and Lance and Tracy over the last 6 months to a year, getting to know you guys better, you pretty much have shown that if we go out and we do the work, that we have someone we can call, we have someone we can count on, and we have someone with vision. And we're just so grateful for what you guys are doing back in Legacy. And we know that more than anything else, you'll never leave a man behind. So we love you guys.
Hey, thanks so much, guys. You all have a great night. I hope everyone goes out and puts this front and center in their business, and let's make this thing rock. Good night, everybody.